Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And welcome, everyone. I am so pleased to be here with my guest today, who is the legendary Stewart Pearce. And he has worked with Princess Diana and Marianne Williamson and many other leaders about the voice of change. And it's all about love. Let's welcome Stewart Pearce back to Quantum Conversations. Hello, Stewart.
Well, hello, Loren. It's wonderful to be here. It's always such great fun to share space with you. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming back and sharing in this episode your latest work. There it is. Diana, the voice of change. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And so share with us, please, why you wrote this book.
Thinking back, was it some time ago? Writing books takes time, and particularly this one. It's been interesting giving birth to this wonderful, wonderful book. I was spinning around the world working with some very extraordinary people, and particularly with wonderful ladies. It seems that my destiny, the wheel of fortune turns and leads my destiny in the direction of working with remarkable women. And so it's my service to the arousal of the divine feminine. And there I was working with the three very extraordinary ladies who are quite powerful in the world and doing amazing things, like so many extraordinary women are doing, really finding what their voice of change is all about and how they can advance and therefore bring about extraordinary changes in the world. There's a wonderful phrase it's a Japanese proverb that says, when the women's voices are aroused, the mountains move. So I was working with the ladies that I'm talking about at that time, and one of them said, didn't you work with Princess Diana? Excuse me. And I said, yes, I had. So she said, well, you haven't written a book about it. And I said, no, I never will. I never will. And so she said, well, why not? And I said, well, the point about my relationship with Diana was that it was completely confidential. So nobody knew what was taking place. And this was a pact that we had when we met, when we were introduced to one another by a friend of Diana's. This was during the last 2 years of her life. And this friend just happened to be an amazing woman, another amazing woman who was a leading restaurateur in this city where I am at the moment, which is London. And Mara Burney was her name, of the famous San Lorenzo restaurant. Mara said, I have someone for you to meet. And I said, who is that? And she said, well, why didn't you just come for lunch and find out when you arrive? So I said, no, tell me, who is it? She'd been immensely generous to me in prior years by introducing me to some of her very celebrated customers and clients. So I said, no, do tell me. She said, what, do you trust me? Come. And so I went, and there was Diana. I had an inkling, of course. I had an intuition. I had a psychic premonition that I was meeting somebody very, very extraordinary. And there was Diana. And to be honest, Loren, when I met her, Diana is in a private room having lunch, and Diana grabbed hold of my arm rather, and her blue eyes, these extraordinary sapphire blue or cornflower blue eyes, looked at me. And in that moment, I fell in love. She was one of the most enchanting, one of the most beautiful, one of the most sweet and kind and funny people I've met. And she said, you will work with me. And so I said yes. And the pact was that it would be completely confidential for two reasons. Firstly, there was a huge circus going on around Diana. And it was very, very challenging, as we saw, for example, in one aspect of that circus, which was the paparazzi, because they hounded her. And as we know, there was this very unfortunate event that led to her death. as indeed I may say, the British press have also done with Meghan Markle. And so Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have left the shores of the United Kingdom to find their creative destinies elsewhere. Thank heavens, because they've been badly, badly treated. So I didn't want to become involved in all of this circus because I felt that my efficacy, my coaching practice with Diana would not be as best as it could be if I were involved. But she implored me, and so I said, okay, let's make it confidential, which means that I will never report anything that we've done. And she said, yes, but perhaps when I'm gone, prophetically, you could write the exercises down. Well, we were together for 2 years. And during that time, I made sure also that I could heal the psychic wounds and the physical wounds that she had, which were mostly called betrayal. Because over the years prior to us meeting, she'd worked with a number of leading empowerment people. And of course, she was very aware of the mysteries of spirit. And so she interacted with the mysteries of spirit by often going for psychic readings with leading mediums and so forth. All of those people, mostly all of those people, had taken their story post working with Diana and had sold it to the tabloids. And so she had been publicly eviscerated, so to speak. So there were so many wounds to do with betrayal. I didn't want to be part of that. Not that I would have taken her story. I feel that I live through integrity, that I would not have taken her story. But I never, ever, ever wanted. So I didn't speak about her for years and years. And then suddenly here is this leading lady saying, well, why don't you? And in that moment, Diana came right next to me and whispered in my ear, as it were, it's time to write the book. And so she was with me all the way through the process, which interestingly was in this room, in this study here in my apartment in London, where I sat almost like a monk for 3 months and wrote. And she was with me all the time. And we had fun. She laughed a lot. And sometimes we would laugh for the sake, we didn't realize what we were laughing about. We were just laughing because we really enjoyed laughing the way that children do. She was a person of immense mirth, fun, ease. And I feel that everybody saw that, even though we also saw the tears of the victim. We knew that she was, as we saw with her children, for example, where, there are many photographs or indeed videos of her playing with Harry and William. And she was great fun. So that's how it really came in. The conception was interesting because as soon as the idea came, within a space of 15 minutes, I saw the entire book. Because, of course, the task is daunting. Honored I was, but the task is daunting. How can I write about this extraordinary lady? And, of course, I didn't want to write in the way that so many people had written through the kiss and tell notion, or another chronicle, or another diary, because Andrew Morton had done this, and also Tina Brown's Diana Chronicles, I think it's called, is an extraordinary book about the whole journey from the People's Princess to her death. But it's all a diary and a comment on the superficial nature. We never ever feel Diana's soul. We never feel her essence. And that was the interconnectivity that she and I shared, that it was her soul that we were honoring, and it was her soul that we were recognizing was the force that was creating the enormous destiny that she had. And her soul, of course, was the transfiguration of her